Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Penapple and today I'm doing the Modern Paradise speed build. So if you're interested in downloading this build, you can get it off of the gallery. My origin ID is penappleYT. So I've been wanting to do a more modern build for a while now. I mean, I usually do modern builds. I don't know, but I was really excited to do this one. I really based it off of this original shape here. Like, this is the shape I wanted for part of it, and then it just kind of grew from there on. And at first I thought I might do something with curved decks, but I ended up scratching that idea. So that was out. But I also am adding in this upper area walkway, yes? Basically, I imagine this space that's going to develop as being for like an older child, like somebody who's maybe more independent, who's like maybe visiting from college or something, you know, or maybe even just a guest room. But yeah, I really, oh my gosh, I love how this thing turned out. When I was taking the screenshots, I was like, ooh, it looks so good. Oh my god, look at it. But yeah, I think it kind of looks like almost like the container sort of houses that they make from, like, you know, the big container ships boxes things. I don't know if they have a specific name. But one of the things I also really liked about this house was the pool. A giant pool. And I originally did it because I liked having the walkway over water. And then the pool just kind of continuously grew from there. Yeah, so it just got kind of bigger and bigger. And because I wanted the deck to be like extending out over the water, I thought that looked really cool. And so I ended up changing it though. And so I have a deck leading from both like sort of sections of the house. And I really, really love how that turned out. I wish we could have sort of bridges though, like almost like a deck without a foundation over the water, but I understand why that isn't really a thing yet, if it ever will be. But yeah, so right now I'm really just trying to get the shape down, trying to do logistics with some of the stairs too. I wanted that tower to be accessible from both walkways, which the way I did it just now, it wasn't, because a door wouldn't really fit, and so I ended up having to go back and change that towards the end. But yeah, so I love what I did with these windows here. I just really like it. I don't know. I mean, I built it, so it's probably a good thing that I liked it. And I also added in a upper sort of balcony floor. And I like how that turned out. I originally thought I was going to have that be an office, but later on I actually turned it into a gym. So that was interesting. You're not going to see it yet, but the whole, or I guess you have because you saw the intro, but I went with a really white, red, and black sort of color scheme, except for I did change it a bit on the interior. I instead went with, some more neutral colors, and then there's a basement section, and I went with a more spa-like sort of blues and like lights and like creamy browns, that sort of thing. So that basement area has like an actual like spa, which is cool, and like a massage table, which I've never actually included in one of my builds before. I actually, except for a spa, like an actual spa that I did, but I haven't ever included it in a home build. And it has the master bedroom, and it has a sauna, and I thought that was really cool to have the master bedroom be underground. This build actually is very reminiscent of a build I did before I started my YouTube channel, and it was actually my most popular build until I built the hot dog stand, and then that thing just exploded. like crazy. Wasn't expecting it. But yeah, this build reminds me a lot of it. Same sort of color scheme and same, it also has a basement like area, and it has the same color scheme. Did I already say that? It's the same sort of modern thing. But one of the things I really liked that I did was I sort of made my own fence for the walkways in between the two sections. I really liked that. I thought it really added to the house in a way that the regular fences couldn't have. Because I got to pick what level it was, and then I got to pick where the spacings were. So I really liked doing that. And so up here, that's where I put two sort of children's bedrooms. So this is a 4-bedroom house, which is kind of weird because it's so big. I at first, just my working name for it for like saving files and places was My Modern Mansion, and I'm like, this isn't a mansion. I mean, it's big. Like, it'd be a mansion to me, but I don't think it's actually a mansion because it only has 4 bedrooms. There are houses that have more than that aren't mansions. But yeah, so the kids' bedrooms were really simple, and they took me like a crazy long time. I don't even know what was happening, but like I was struggling. I was struggling with layout because they're kind of small, and I was struggling with just I don't even know. So I actually did end up cutting those out. So I'm sorry if anybody was going to be interested in those. But there will be screenshots. By the way, this is part 2. Part 1. Part 2. What? Oh my god. By the way, even though we're 7 minutes into this build, I am now choosing this moment to tell you that this is a 2-part build. Yeah. There are some things in builds, like voiceovers, that I always forget to say, and it's either, oh, this is a 2-parter, or, oh, you can download this off the gallery. So this time I managed to say, hey, you can download this off the gallery right off the get-go. But yeah, now you guys know it's a 2-parter. I mean, it'll be in the title too, but yeah, so this one will have some screenshots, but just of the exterior. But yeah, so that was the whole long tangent about the children's bedrooms. Here I am sort of planning out the space, and then you just saw me jump through like all of the coloring. And I did that because it takes me a really long time to do coloring, and I personally find it really boring to just see a whole bunch of different colors like pop up, and then like nothing really happens with that. But I don't know, if you guys are more interested in seeing the coloring, let me know and I'll start including it more often. But for now, I just kind of, I'm like, here, look, it magically colored itself. Yay! But yeah, I really ended up loving the layout of the first floor, the second floor, and then the tower. Like I said, the upmost floor with the children's bedrooms was like, not my best. But I think it's workable. Definitely not a mansion though, like I said. But here's the spa area, and you can see I'm choosing those sort of blue and white colors. And I really liked how it turned out. The new, it's not that new anymore, but the new lighting system in The Sims really makes the bottom floor like gorgeous. Like, I absolutely love it. The amount of windows just creates so many cool shadows. And so here is the main living area, and I also colored this. And here's where I deviate from the red, white, and black color scheme, and instead of red, I went with the dark brown. And I thought that made this look a lot more fancy. Oh my god. Okay, you probably heard that. That was sirens going by. I live in like the worst place really to be doing like voiceovers and let's plays and whatnot. Like, I live on an arterial. It's a one-way street arterial, so it's like, oh my gosh, tons of traffic, and right next to the train. And I also live right next to a bar, although usually that's not a problem when I'm recording during the day, but oh my god, Super Bowl or just football in general is like crazy. Oh my gosh. I once heard this dude who his team lost the game and he just was repeatedly shouting the F word like over and over again, like he was dying. And I was like, somebody lost. But yeah, so I was talking about the color scheme. I really love how it turned out. And I love that even though this is a relatively large build, I end up combining the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room all into one like sort of open floor plan room. And I thought it was just really nice. This would definitely be like the heart of the house. And it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I think this is probably my absolute favorite room in the house. Just because I love every section of it. I love everything I did with it. There are also other spaces that I really like, but this one's definitely like takes the cake. Also, this area flowed, I guess, the easiest for me. Like, I almost didn't have to think about how I want things to go. Like, the kitchen, like, that was the biggest hurdle, was where exactly do I want this? But after I got that down, this was, like, super smooth sailing. And I just, like, blew right through it. Oh my gosh, I felt so creative. But yeah, I'm about to start doing the living space, which, like I said, I really like. And I continued with that sort of dark brown, like, color scheme. And I think that really helps to sort of not make this house too themey or, like, matchy-matchy, that sort of thing. Like, it still goes, but it's not like, hey, look, everything in the entire world is red, black, or white. Yay! Yeah. But oh my gosh, this whole build is like, I'm like, oh my god, I love it so much. But like, I felt really creative. Like this right here, this pot, I just found another plant to put it in because I liked the pot, but I also wanted a plant. And so I really like how that turned out, with the broccoli. I just called bamboo broccoli. I'm like unsure how that happened. I mean, I had broccoli in my lunch, but bamboo looks nothing like broccoli. It starts with the same letter, but I don't know. So here I am working on the office, and I picked this to be the office because I loved putting that like table up against that window. I thought that looked really cool. This also surprisingly has my favorite bathroom of the entire house off of it. I don't know why, I just like this one the best. There's a fair amount of bathrooms. There's one on almost every floor. Yeah, except for the second floor. No, there is one on the second. There's one on every floor. Like moving in my chair. Okay, here we go. But with this office, it gave me a little bit of trouble with what I wanted to put on the walls and how I wanted everything to be laid out. And so I end up going with a more, I don't want to say open, but less cluttered, with this build, because it was I imagined such a rich family living here. I wanted to really make sure that it seemed like there was a lot of space, because one of the things I do like to do is clutter my builds, because it makes the space look more realistic. People live in clutter. If your house isn't cluttered, then you're like a robot, or you're rich and have somebody to make your house not cluttered. At least that's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? But yeah, for this one I tried to sort of stay away from clutter so much and just sort of pick things that made the space complete without overcrowding it. And I just really, I think I did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, there's also this thing I did, those lights there. I really like them for some reason. I think I put them next to the mirror just now, and I think it looks very professional for some reason. I don't know. It looks very vanity, like an actual vanity, and so I really liked that. I thought that looked really cool. And so the bookshelves, I had a hard time with that. I still don't know if I like these ones, but I just kind of went with it. This build took a heck of a long time. Like, there's a lot of cuts, because otherwise this would be 3 episodes, and I didn't want that. I honestly don't like having super long builds, which is rough because I like doing big builds. But that's one of the reasons why I like to do room builds a lot, is because it allows me to be super detailed, but then be able to speed it up so it's under like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I think that just makes it easier for people to watch, because I love, like, I'm really plugged into YouTube. I don't mind when things are like 20, 30, even 40 minutes long, because I like to do stuff while I have it on in the background. But a lot of people don't have that sort of time or don't like doing things that way. And I mean, like, even right now, I'm like super busy with school and applying for grad school. So I don't actually have as much time to watch longer stuff. Like, I tend to save things on my watch later, and then I pick them out by length. So the shortest things go first, and then I'm left with like long stuff that I sometimes just don't have time to like watch. So yeah, that's why I do a lot of cuts. That was a really long explanation for that. But I added a piano in here, and I thought that looked really good. It made it so I didn't have to do another seating section over there, which was what I was kind of planning on doing. But I like the piano a lot. I added in piano in like my last builds, because I realized that I wasn't adding pianos into like any of my builds ever. And I think that's because they don't have upright pianos. They just have like grand pianos. And most people don't have a grand piano, they have an upright piano. And I think in The Sims 3 they had both. And so that's actually like one of those like small things about The Sims that just drives me a little bit crazy. Especially because I had a piano in my house growing up, and I played the piano, and so I know, like, I actually minored in music, like, with piano, and I know how expensive pianos are, and I know how unrealistic it is for the average person to have a grand piano. It's so unrealistic. Like, good grand pianos can cost you over $10,000 easily. Like a Steinway, which is considered to be one of the best pianos, especially in America, can like $20,000. That's usually for a concert grand piano, but still, it's like really expensive. Anyways, moving on from pianos, here I'm doing a sort of rec room, and I purposely placed this in the tower because I wanted it to seem like we had a teenager or young adult sim that didn't actually own the house, but was living like with their parents. And so this was kind of like their hangout space for them to be independent. And I also, wanted to include things like the pool table or the pool table. That was a foosball table. I said pool table when I was thinking of the dartboard. So, there's that. And, like a bar section too. And so I really like how this turned out. I did have to rearrange it a little bit because I tested this house with Sims. I've started doing that more often. I didn't used to do that before. But yeah, I started testing it. So like, even though that foosball table fit, it was like the game, like without move objects on it, fit there. It wasn't accessible for some reason. So I ended up having to like adjust it so that Sims could actually like use it, because especially for like playable objects, things that aren't just seating, I really value them being usable, because there's really no point to add a pool, or not a pool table, foosball table, if you can't use it. Whereas if you have a sitting room, or like an entry room with chairs, it's not as important that those like actually work, because most people don't spend that much time sitting there. So yeah, for this bedroom, I did imagine a more like female identifying sim as owning the space, even though it's got those sort of traditional red and black sort of masculine colors, but that's sort of like the whole color scheme of the house. And so, but also there are a lot of like people out there who like red regardless of it being a boy or girl's color. So I don't know, that's just how I imagined it, but I think it could really go either way. It could be pretty gender neutral. Yeah, it just kind of depends. But we are coming up on the end of part 1 of this build. Yes, part 1. It's a 2-parter. Yeah. But I have some screenshots, even though it's only part 1, just of the exterior, because I do more of the interior in the next build than I do of the exterior. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this build. If you did, feel free to give me a like, a comment, or subscribe. It's already up on the gallery. You can download it. My origin ID is penappleYT. And so the screenshots are coming up soon, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Very first time.